move on to corners. Randall, do you want to read off your top 10 corners and then pick a few players to discuss?
Most definitely. Number 1 is Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. 2 is Avion Terrell from Clemson. Number 3 is Will the Blanket Lee III from Texas A&M. Number 4 is Domani Jackson from Alabama. Number 5 is Malik Muhammad from Texas. Number 6 is A.J. Harris from Penn State. Number 7 is D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. Number 8 is Jair Hill from Michigan. Number 9 is Jermaine Matthews from Ohio State. And number 10 is Christian Gray from Notre Dame. I will talk about Will the Lee Blanket. Yeah, I'll go Will the Lee Blanket. I know. Yeah. I was just making sure. Okay, so Will the Lee Blanket. 6'3", 190, probably 6'2", to be honest. But super lengthy, tall guy. He nicknamed himself the Blanket because he covers everybody, even though he still does a seatbelt when he celebrates. You gotta just put the blanket over. But if I'm not mistaken, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but he sent a blanket to Theo Wease last year.
Yes.
And before the game, he sent a blanket to Theo Wease in the Missouri game to be like, "Yo, we're coming for you." I believe he did have a good game there, so he did talk it up. But he's a really good boundary corner and defending passes, has a good trail technique on crossers and can hold on it, can stick his foot in the ground so it's not so much separation on those crossers and allow him to do the trail technique. Really good route recognition to set himself for mirroring wide receivers and able to peek different ways while covering them while he's mirroring them. So I like his eye movement when he is covering those wide receiver. He has a good change of direction. Quick post covering the middle of the field. Ball location skills are impressive as well. Watching wide receivers' hands for PBUs as well. I like it. He's a very good corner. And me and Bill will agree on this. One thing is his effort in total is very questionable. And the reason that I have him third, but he is subject to drop fast, is that effort concern. He's got a full year to show me that those effort concerns are not a concern. But it's in multiple ways, which is wild. If a play is on the left side or the middle of the field and he's just running with a wide receiver and they're kind of walking it out, even if the play comes to him, he doesn't even put in that effort, which is wildly insane. And you can watch it a bunch of times. If he is not involved in the play, he is not about that play. He's basically not on the field. And that is a big concern if the draft was next month, but he does have a full year to play. I hope it could be an attitude thing. I do love the moxie of his nickname, the Blanket, but does that all construe together? And is that arrogance come onto the field or not? He has that to prove in 2025. And then I'll talk about Jair Hill real quick. Let me just pull it up because I know that's not on his, I believe, either. No, it's not. Jair Hill out of Michigan, which if Craig is watching, I apologize. But another taller guy, 6'2", 185, 5.5 tackles for loss. He's good in defending the run at the line of scrimmage. He actually has a sack as well. 83 passer rating when targeted, 7 PBUs. He's got good quick speed to help defending the run and reacting. Has really good length. He has good speed to run wide receiver go routes. He really, really enjoys running their routes for them. If he knows it's a vertical route, he will literally run it for him so he can kind of like basically overtake him. That is one yellow flag in his, is he will play the vertical routes too much and leave the curls and hitches available for him. So I think hopefully he can get taught out of that, but it's kind of like hey, I don't want to give up an explosive play, but I won't get in trouble for 5 yards, right? So he's got to get that out of his head 100%. But he can get, and he needs to work on his zone coverage a little bit better. He is 8th out of my 10 on the board. Sometimes he gets lost in between zones and his spatial awareness to where he won't be guarding anyone, and then somebody will be wide open on that second level. But right now, he's just at that top 125 or top 100 for me, like right on that end. But I think, especially with Michigan, I think he can stay there or climb up, but he could solidify still right maybe at that 9-10 spot at the end of the year still. I'm not sure how much he can grow, as long as he can. Basically, his mentals is what will make him move up, but his athleticism is already there.
Okay. Bill, do you want to go through your top 10 and highlight a couple of players?
Absolutely. So number 1, I've got Avion Terrell from Clemson. Number 2, Christian Gray from Notre Dame. Number 3, Tacario Davis from Washington. Number 4, Malik Muhammad from Texas. Number 5, AJ Harris from Penn State. Number 6, Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. Number 7, D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. Number 8, Josh Moten from Southern Miss. Number 9, Xavier Scott from Illinois. And number 10, Jermaine Matthews Jr. from Ohio State. I'm going to start at number 8 with Josh Moten because he is going to be probably one of the most controversial prospects of this class. 6'1", 164 pounds. That is not a typo. That's not a number, a flub. That is 100% true at 164 pounds. When you look at his game, he has elite ball tracking ability. This guy knows where the ball is in the air at all times, got eyes in the back of his head, has exceptional length for the position at 6'1". A guy is 6'1" as long as he is. Has really good route recognition skills. I would say they're probably average to above average, especially in zone coverage if he maintains a good depth against the quarterback. Has a very natural confidence that borders on cockiness. Just like Will Lee calls himself the blanket, Josh Moten has that same ability of, I know I'm good, throw it my way, and we'll have this conversation. The big things, and there's 2 red goalposts stabbed right into the top of the scouting report on Josh Moten that I have. Number 1 is his weight, 164 pounds. That is not going to get him through an NFL season. He has to bulk up and in a hurry. Number 2, he's got some background character concerns. This is a guy who transferred from Texas A&M, had multiple reported arrests, 2 transfers in 5 years. His background has to be vetted. And if you're an NFL team that's going to take him where I have him, which is in that, round 2, 3, in that top 100 range, you've got to really believe in Josh Moten. He's got the skills. He's got the tools. He's got the talent. It's just he doesn't have the size in terms of his weight, and he doesn't have the cleanest background. So how much do those matter to you as an NFL general manager? For me, when I watch his game, and you, Jim, you and Randall are going to love this being Buffalo guys, it's Dane Jackson 2.0. The same things we see in Dane Jackson, albeit a little bit heavier at 180 pounds. Same for Josh Moten. But ultimately, that weight and his background are going to be 2 of the most talked about things in this corner class. And the other one I'll talk about, I'm going to flip the script a little bit. We talked about one of the kind of lighter players in this cornerback class. I'm going to go to one of the bigger ones in Tacario Davis from Washington, 6'4", 190 pounds. When you look at his game, 6'4", and he has the length. This guy has long arms for a guy of 6'4". Good tackling fundamentals and instincts. He also plays very well in man and zone. Most guys of his size are really good man corners, but aren't the greatest in zone because they can't get low enough to have a consistent back pedal. Tacario does not have that problem. He also, again, like we talked about with Will Lee, like we talked about with Josh Moten, has that competitive cockiness fire that says, I am better than you, throw it my way, I will prove it, and wants the challenge, but also has really good body control and really good spatial awareness, especially when you're talking about timing patterns and timing routes in front of him. The biggest issue for me is his straight line speed. It's below average. If he gets beat by a faster receiver, an Xavier Worthy type of guy, Matthew Golden, if they get a step on him, it's to the house. And that's the concern. You've got to have safety coverage over the top to help that. Despite all of that, if he keeps the wide receiver, the running back, tight end, whoever he's defending in front of him, it's going to be a lock. And that's why he's my 3rd overall cornerback. Very similar report to Tariq Woolen when we talked about him coming out of college, now in Seattle. This is a Seattle-made cornerback. So would it shock me if Seattle takes him in the top 50 next year? Absolutely not, because this is just their style of corner. But when you think of that, big body, not the fastest guy, but physical man and zone and press coverage corner.
For sure. I do think so. Tacario Davis, I did for 2024 scouting. Haven't got him into 2025 scouting. I do suspect that he'd end up in my top 10 as well. So I do agree with that. I just want to refine my tape before I put him in that top 10. So I
Fair.
definitely agree with you there. And my question for your top 10 versus mine is Christian Gray at number 2. Why do you have him? And that totally fair. I totally get it. I love Christian Gray. Why do you have him at 2?
So when you watch Christian Gray's game, it's very similar to James Bradbury when he was with the Eagles and with the Giants. When you watch him, 6 foot, 187 pounds, but his feet and his footwork and his back pedal and in his mirror is lightning. It is quick. It is sudden. It is easy. His hips, very fluid, technically sound corner. One of probably the most technically sound and mechanically refined corners in this class. You can clip that, record it on Spotify, put it up on the wall when it's a freezing cold take at the end of the cycle. I'll take that one, but probably the most mechanically refined corner in this class. Very good instincts, very good anticipation, but doesn't gamble. This is a guy you don't want to take him to the casino with you because he's not going to the blackjack table. He's not going to play craps. He's going up to the hotel room to order some room service and call a night. He doesn't gamble as a cornerback. He also can track the ball downfield very well. The biggest concern is in run support. He's inconsistent getting off his blocks. Sometimes he'll get off of them lightning quick. Other times he gets tied up like he's trying to talk on the phone in the kitchen and he's got the cord wrapped around his legs and mom says, hang up the phone, and he trips over himself. All in all, the technical refinement, the mechanical refinement, the instincts, the route recognition, that's why he's my number 2 guy behind Avion Terrell. When we say cornerback number 2, though, and Randall, I don't know how you feel about this class, but I don't have a first round grade on any corner in this class. And in fact, my highest ranked corner, Avion Terrell, would be my 26th overall prospect, and Christian Gray would be 30th. Both of them fringe first round selections, but I think they'll firmly land in round 2. How do you feel about this corner class?
I'm there with you as well. Avion Terrell is a late first for me. Or Javon McCoy and Avion Terrell are both late first for me. And then Will Lee is in that top 50 and then kind of go from there. But I do agree with Christian Gray. Like, I want to put Christian Gray at number 2 when I watch the Georgia Tech game. And then you get Christian Gray, Georgia Tech, like he's knockout, lockdown corner, like unreal.
100%.
Mechanics, like it was like watching figure skating. It was unreal.
Yes.
Like it was flawless. And
Beautiful.
then I put on like the USC game. And then the USC game had good and bad to it, right? He had good interceptions, but then double moves looked easy on him. So my only concern, because I do think, especially with this year and especially at Notre Dame, because like this year, like Notre Dame is a good school for him and what he's going to do in this year, especially with Marcus Freeman and how they're going to operate. But you could tell if he got bit on a double move, and even if it was a 20-yard fade because he got beat and it was open, you could see a wide receiver separate. Most wide receivers do separate from him. So my long speed is a little bit of a concern for him, and then just not getting bit on those double moves. But I do agree. I was so ready to put Christian Gray at number 2 or number 3. And then I started kind of looking into him, and then my 7 through 10 are almost interchangeable right now. So he's not really number 10 for me. He's in just that group of 7 to 10. But I really loved what I saw Christian Gray, and I'm really excited to see him in 2025.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 points to make there. So I appreciate what Randall was saying is that there's a tier of players and they're about the same grade. At this point, we at Draft Professor are less about the player ranks, and we're more about, is that a day 1, day 2, day 3 player? And then let's sort out the order of those players as we go through an entire college football season. So for anybody that is building a board, we hope that you find this podcast valuable, and let's talk about other things that are valued. Bill, do you want to let everybody know who you are and how they can find you?
Absolutely. So you can find all of my content over on X at Spark Scouting. Also a writer and analyst for the Right Way Sports Network. That's TWSN.net. As we record this, my top 10 running backs just went up live over there on the site, and I have top 10 quarterbacks and wide receivers. I'm going to make my way through all top 10s, just like we do here. And then you can also catch me here on the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft podcast during the season upcoming. I'll be on Wednesday nights. You may catch me on some Friday nights, some Thursday nights, some Tuesday nights, Monday nights. You just gotta pop in and see if I'm here. And if I'm not here, you'll be like, "Great, I'm staying. I don't want to see his face."
Yeah.
No, I kid.
I'm on. If you're not there, then yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where you can find me, Spark Scouting on X. Randall, where can the people find all of your lovely work?
All right, yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Randall Slifer. That's right there. I try and interact with everybody and have conversation about football because I can talk 24/7. I do most of my podcasting with Jim and everybody here at Draft Professors that we're doing. We're ramping up. I'll be doing Tuesdays with Andy, which I'm very excited with wide receivers. And then I do also like to hop in everywhere that I can so I can keep talking about football. And then I also do writing for Team MBS Media. I cover Razorbacks and Buffalo Bills, but then I do everything in between. We got College World Series coming up this weekend. Been writing about that, which I'm super jacked up about. And then I'm also part of their NFL Draft Central at Team MBS 2 with a great crew that starts in the fall, which is great. And that's where you can find me.
Cool. And my name's Jim. You can follow me at NFL Draft Fanatic. No, I am Fanatic. It is the same on YouTube as it is on Twitter. And we've been podcasting Mrs. R Relevant for more than a year. We are new to the Spotify world, and you might be seeing this on a lot of different podcast feeds now. But the best way to follow us is definitely on YouTube. And the reason I say that, if you go to the YouTube station, you will see podcasts from 80 draft professors, which include Randall and Bill. So we have about 22 podcasters that help create daily draft content and a lot of guests that come on and help us. So we will have a draft podcast coming at you every day from now until April. So you can give the channel a follow. You can go to the YouTube and you can find, like, do I want to see more wide receivers, offensive line, quarterbacks? On YouTube, it's all divided up. Whereas if you find the podcast anywhere else, it's just a podcast in a group of Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft podcasts. That being said, let's talk about the cornerback class just a little bit more. So, Bill, you've finished – well, I shouldn't say finished. You've done a lot of your summer scouting.
Yes.
How many corners do you have a draftable grade on right now?
Right now, if you include from all the way total draftable, it'd be 45. And that includes redshirt, sophomore, junior, and senior. Like I've talked about, anybody who fits the draftable criteria and has a draft grade for me, I've got 45 right now.
Yeah. And Randall, how many corners did you get through in the 150 to 200 defensive players that you watch?
I count right now. Yeah. Right now, I have 35.
Okay.
35 and some more to go.
And then my question to you guys both, right? So you're both in the mid 30s to 40, right? 35 to 45 guys on your board. How are you feeling about the cornerback class relative to the last 2 years right now? Randall.
I would almost treat this class like the wide receiver class last year. There's going to be a lot of folks in that rounds 2 to 4 that are going to be very serviceable. Just what team, what NFL team is looking for what in your DB room, and then that's how it's going to go. I think it's going to be more or less choose your flavor for the NFL team, and then you kind of go from there. But it's all talented, and we have another year to see these kids play. So we'll see how that ends up. But it's just like the wide receivers. They're all very good players, but then there's one thing that kind of pulls them back for me.
Bill, how about you? What's your assessment, your initial assessment, at least, of the cornerback group?
So Randall hits the nail on the head. This cornerback group is not a top heavy talented group. It's going to be a lot of rounds 2, 3, 4, 5 that are serviceable and that can play NFL snaps for you, but they're not going to be all pros. They're not going to be, multiple award winning corners, top tier talents. That's not this class. We are going to get to a point, some point on day 2 of the NFL draft, where that first corner is going to go off the board. And then there's going to be a run. Somebody's going to say, well, if it's good enough to take Avion Terrell, I'm going to take Jermod McCoy. I'm going to take Christian Gray. And we're going to see him fly off the board. But if you are a team that is in a dire straits of needing an all-star corner, this is not the class for you.
So we will be, let's say, putting a pin in that. But as we're, let's say, making some general conclusions on summer scouting, I thought that was worthy of a brief discussion here.